Welcome, everybody. How's that for a new starting? Trying many new things, new background, and a new studio, and starting off with a timer. I'm going to welcome Casey Grooms, Casey Grooms from Soulbound TV, to join us today. So, Casey is we're going to talk a little bit about not just game streaming, but also the whole idea of decentralized television and what all that means to us in the business. But those of you who don't know who YOM is, real quick, YOM is a decentralized cloud gaming network. So we allow games, AAA quality games, games like that are built in Unreal, to be able to stream through our network at a super low price, much lower than you'd find in the central server model. So this opens the doors for all those game studios who want to reach a wider audience to get to gamers past the hardware wall where they don't need the high-end gaming machines to run them. And then those people who had the high-end gaming machines, we paid them to let us borrow their machines for our network. Check all the information out at yom.oo. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'd ask you to go ahead and subscribe if this content is good for you. And let's go ahead and bring up to the mic Casey. Hey, Casey, how are you been?
Hey, Jeff. I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you for the invite, and appreciate being here and looking forward to our partnership with YOM.
Yeah, let me get you. Let me try to give you equal billing here. That makes me feel a little like I'm not overpowering you. So Casey and I, we've met a couple of times and talked about where Soulbound TV and YOM might come together. But I like to start these things out to actually go kind of back all the way to the beginning to ask people, like, where do you get your start in the technology field? How do you find your way to decentralization and the blockchain? But just a little bit of quick about your background and where you're from and how you found your place into the, onto camera today.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. I got started in building tech and software fairly early in my life. I don't want to age myself here, but it's been
Don't worry,
about
I got
2
you.
years. And my first foray into kind of entrepreneurship was right out of college. I went into banking early, and during my kind of banking stints, I started a few different companies. Both failed, but just kind of got my hands dirty and started to really learn how to build tech, how to build a marketing machine, and build value for both users and the customers, and kind of scale things up. So a couple of those early companies. One was a mobile game. It was acquired very early. I think it was like a 2D fighter for mobile, and this was back before even Apple had their in-app store available.
Wow.
So we built our own app store to buy like skins and weapons and items to buy that from. So very early in the space, and that started to kind of pivot into my first major company. It was mobile ad tech, and I spent around 10 plus years building that and scaling that out. We built that out of Singapore, actually, but operated globally. Was around 80 employees. We bootstrapped for the first year, and then we took a couple different rounds of funding from Rakuten, a Japanese conglomerate in the telecom space. And what that company essentially did was allow any advertiser or media buyer to buy ads programmatically on mobile apps, mobile websites, and mobile games. So we facilitated essentially the buying and selling of these ads all in real time. So which meant essentially you had around 150 milliseconds through this protocol called real-time bidding to transact and essentially digest the information, determine whether you have an advertiser that wants to purchase this ad or this place, and then you send the payload, which is kind of like an ad unit and things like that, and the ad gets served to the user. So we were very early in that space and kind of like helped pioneer that, and of course scale the company out. And I eventually left and exited that around 2017, 2018, and then started to kind of just dabble in the crypto space around then through a music tech venture that I had started right after that mobile ad tech company. So I'm a big fan of music, and music is a big passion of mine. And I wanted to, at the time, kind of decentralize artists and music and the way that would work. And if you know a little bit about the music industry, you've probably heard it's completely messed up. And artists, have, when they go to the table with the record label, they're going to get screwed. And
Always.
And I wanted to kind of flip that table on its head. And it's like, okay, well, how do I get the artist to the record table with leverage? And if we can have their fans backing them and supporting them, and then they potentially like already did some kind of like fundraising through a token launch of their own, and they're sitting on maybe 100K or 250K in funds, and they go to this record label, the leverage is now on them, the table's turned, and the artist can say, well, what are you doing for me? And why should I listen to you or sign with your label? And I'm going to keep my master recordings, and I don't have to sign this 360 deal and things like that. So it was a whole trying to shake up and really like fix the music industry. We launched it actually, and then 2018 came, crypto imploded, and I kind of just fizzled out of that, and did some other things, but then jumped back into crypto and the Web3 space a couple years ago, and started building Soulbound, and we kind of iterated and evolved the company over the last couple of years to what we are today as basically like a decentralized television and an interactive entertainment platform. And we've been kind of building that ecosystem now, and things are going really, really well. So
So you and I can talk at great length about the music industry, not because I'm also a huge music guy myself. I've got playlists after on Spotify. I'm constantly making a new playlist just to entertain myself. But we probably shouldn't do that here. We can talk a little bit though about when you say decentralized television and decentralized entertainment on Soulbound. What are the main features, and who's the audience for this, and where does it help out? Is it the same type of thing where you're trying to empower the content creators on that side as well?
Yeah. So long story short, we basically built a full featured live streaming platform. So think Twitch, but for Web3. And we're going to be building more features and opportunities throughout the rest of the years to enable content creators and streamers to monetize more effectively than they can at these legacy live streaming platforms. Then the next stage is obviously taking all of these opportunities and layering Web3 on top. And we can talk about like all the things we can do with that, but it's fairly endless. And so our big audience right now are gamers who are streaming games, both Web 2 and Web 3 games. And we've kind of built out a strong niche within that vertical over the last year. As we started off as a social gaming platform about a year and a half ago. And it was like dealing with stickers, and you could upload gameplay content, things like that, slap stickers on people's posts. And we quickly kind of realized, we need to take it to the next level. We started to get traction when we added a Twitch integration, and users can upload their gameplay content directly. And then games, when we were kind of working with a lot of Web3 games, they were wanting us to get more of our users to post their gameplay content and disseminate that, and kind of like be that distribution point for a game to find more users and retain them through kind of like content creation. And then we kind of like evolved the platform into a live streaming setup, but it wasn't really, it was kind of like half baked. And we launched that around Halloween. And then, we decided at that time, okay, let's just scrap everything, rebuild from the ground up a full featured live streaming platform as if we're Twitch, but start to layer on all the components of Web3 and everything you can do with that, and go from there. And that's where we are today. So most of our content creators are, on the gaming side, and we are proud to say we do have quite a few customers. Avalanche is actually one of our customers, reoccurring as well. So the way that actually works is Avalanche, or any game essentially, can pay our streamers to create content for their game. So it's kind of like incentivized streaming. Stream off the grid for 3 hours, get 5 kills, do XYZ thing in the stream, and then you get an immediate payout. And so we've been facilitating all those payouts, attributing and validating that the streamer streamed off the grid completely, things like that. And so during these, what we call bounties, we become like 20 to 70% of any game's live streams globally. So it's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the difference, or that one of the main differentiators is that payout is immediate? You don't, because that's what blockchain can help you do, right? You don't have to wait for the end of the month to come and settle up your account. You're able to pay at the end of every session, or as every goal is reached. Is that kind of one of the big differentiators?
That is a big differentiator, but honestly, for me, that's almost like table stakes.
Okay.
But yes, that is one major advantage of blockchain just generally, right? And these users and streamers get immediate payouts. So typically, these payouts happen, or amount to about $50, 50 USDC or so.
Sure.
You stream the game. It takes a cost, let's say 24 hours or so. We validate everything, and then we issue the funds. And so that is one obviously major advantage of blockchain, but that's for us, that's kind of just like basic.
But and then the other story that I guess could be told, but you can tell me I'm not right. Streamers who are streaming a game like Off the Grid, if Off the Grid is partnered with those streamers or makes it available to streamers content for the game, because it can be done in the in a Web3 way, those streamers can drop gear and loot into the wallets of people who are watching the stream, or as rewards. They don't have to. It doesn't have to be an in-game transaction. It can happen outside the game, which means your reach can be a lot farther. Am I getting that right as well?
Yeah, we are trying to obviously add more ways and tools to increase viewership of these streamers. A big reason why a lot of our streamers are moving from Twitch and other like legacy platforms is they're basically just streaming to an empty audience, and they may be streaming 8 hours a day, and there's like 1 or 2 viewers on their stream, and so it's like, what are you doing? How are you going to make money on this? And so we're trying to help them obviously monetize better and more effectively and efficiently, and help them get a bigger user base and viewership. One of those ways is we're releasing our Telegram app within this month. That's going to help us on the viral coefficient side to scale users and scale viewers, and that's specifically going to be like watch views. We have a prediction market that we can talk about a little bit. Bet on these streams, and just as you watching streams, you're also earning essentially like an XP token, but also our native token that allows you to kind of like, it's kind of like a watch and earn setup. But
Right.
now these streamers have an actual audience to stream to and start to build their fan base and stuff. So emotes is like one thing that we'll start to like jump back into as well, because we had the whole sticker functionality before and we ripped it all out as we rebuilt everything. But we're going to start adding all of that back in, and all those stickers are going to become emotes and emojis, and it's going to be a really fun ecosystem.
People love the stickers, man.
Yeah.
They love to collect. So as I thought about it, and what everyone knows what we're doing with YOM, to get gamers to play these really high-end games like Off the Grid, but without having to have the hardware themselves, meaning that you have much larger pool of players, because again, they get past the hardware wall. And you have to think that some of those players, once they have got past that hardware wall, the next step for them is, oh, now I also want to be a game streamer and get that popularity, because it was something that I had never really caught on to me. My son, obviously huge, he'll watch streams forever, but when it was related to me, that it's like watching a sporting event, right? It's like watching if I watch hockey because I like to watch hockey. I'm not playing it, but I'm watching it, enjoying it, and watching a game stream is the same type of thrill for the audience. So the hope anyways is that as we get more live, we throw more game streamers onto your network so they can play those games, and again, it's gonna be more people doing it.
Yeah.
So, but there's more going on, right? You said it goes beyond gamers. You've got plans for getting past just the gamers.
Yes. So we do view ourselves as like more larger in scope as an entertainment platform, and what is the next generation of television look like? That's where we're going into, and so gaming is a big vertical that we're in now, especially because we've kind of been building in that space for the last couple of years. We have a lot of partnerships and relationships, and we can easily just onboard streamers, play all these like Web3 games, do tournaments, rewards, things like that. The next things that we're going to go into, we want to start onboarding IRL streamers and just chatting streamers. So it's just kind of like hip hop rappers and celebrities, and maybe you just have a cooking show and things like that, and it's all live streamed, and then start to layer on monetization options for those content creators themselves, right? So tip, subscribe. Maybe, this is some alpha information that we're teaming up with a very large agent operating system in the space, and the whole agent ecosystem world is going to be embedded into the new Soulbound TV platform as well. So every streamer will have their own sidekick agents that they can do things with, and then we're building a mod marketplace on top of that. So your streamer, your sidekick agent, will have its own, life, its own token, but it'll help moderate your stream, moderate predictions, and become an oracle on all your game streams. So that will allow the prediction market to kind of like take a life of its own, have more activity and engagement there on a day-to-day basis. And then as well as, third parties can create mods to these agents that allow the agent to now, you can equip the agent and download essentially this mod for your agent, and it could do something else now. So do I want my agent to play Minecraft 24/7 and stream itself, play Minecraft 24/7? It can do that, right? It's just like add that mod to your agent, and now like it's got that ability. So in the agentic world of entertainment, we're starting to kind of push the boundary of what's going to happen there, and all of these things will start to get released in the next couple months. But that's also, we're looking at how to help monetize these agents for the streamer themselves, and you have to kind of like breed it and keep it alive and moderate and upgrade it. It's not just a lot of these agents right now, it's, they're really cool and interesting, but I think the hype dies down after a few days. And we want to figure out, well, how do we keep the agent active and alive, but it's also tied to the streamer themselves? And that's for us is going to be like the more interesting aspect, to kind of like keep that relationship up and the entertainment up for the audience as well, to engage with like you, the streamer, your agent at the same time, and what that looks like.
So we do a lot of like blue skying of what the future is going to look like at the YOM, in the YOM offices. We talk about what our technology is going to enable. But when you put together what you're talking about, where if I want to do a town hall and I want to have an animated character that's been built inside of Unreal, but it has its own personality, be my co-host for the town hall, and he knows everything about YOM, but it's got the personality of, say, Walter White from Breaking Bad, and he's giving me a hard time because he's so arrogant and so smart about what he knows. That in itself is a new form of entertainment. It's the podcast with a AI host who's got an attitude that I've programmed in, or the whole group of people that I've programmed in, and then he can, at the same time as he's talking to me, award the people who are watching for the best comment or doing a task or that kind of thing. So am I telling the story of what you're talking about? This is kind of the way that you're seeing it as well.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, the way that we're kind of like thinking about it for the long term is, the next generation of reality TV, and what does reality TV look like at that point? With and I don't even know what's possible. We're just going to be helping provide the tool set to enable that, and then it's really up to the streamer and user to kind of like take it on a life of its own with its agent and things like that. So right now we started building interactive tools to start to kind of like create this enablement. Prediction market is one. So it's all permissionless right now. Any streamer can, and any person can actually start to create a prediction on any stream. So Jeff's playing Fortnite right now, or Valorant. I can create a prediction on Jeff's stream. It's like, is Jeff going to win or lose this match? Is
always he get lose? I always lose.
Yeah, so we know where to bet now. And so anyone can start to create predictions on your streams, regardless if you're kind of like aware of it or not. And we've building obviously functions to offset and mitigate bad actors from there's actually, once you decentralize a prediction market, there's actually a lot of can of worms that get opened, and so we've found that, and so now we're just like slowly kind of like picking one worm off as we can find it and solve it for in a software solution, right? Like, so
yeah, so it's easy for me to if I wanted to throw the match, because I can see the predictions are saying that I lose, right? You gotta put stoppers in so that kind of thing doesn't happen. I'll become the Pete Rose of game streamers, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna be adding like some functionality soon. similar to the prediction market mechanics. It's going to be like voting, so people can vote on something. This is going to start to roll into music and live streaming, and so we're doing some partnerships with some programmable IP solutions that have a lot of artist relationships, where those artists are going to live stream, song creation or remixing. Will be that live streaming platform to kind of like distribute their content of that. And the tool set for the remixing and voting of like which beat do you want in this remix, things like that. That's going to be done through Soulbound TV. It's all in real time. And then that completion of that song is going to finish. And then everyone who voted will have some small IP rights on that song as it gets written into the IP chain. So we're working on those solutions right now, and those will all be live within February as well, and like a dare feature as well. So users can start daring other users to do stuff. So
that's another
obviously
can of worms.
to go bad or good, right? But we'll in time we'll obviously try to mitigate bad, but anything is dareable, and at that point in time, so it's really up to the streamer.
Yeah, I can see that devolving very rapidly, because we know that porn seems to take over every industry. When if you open the door a little bit, it gets its nose into the tent, and then it's all over. So yeah, but I mean, maybe that works out. Maybe there's some money to be made there.
Definitely.
So I guess again, the long and short of it is games is a great place to start. I mean, it seems like you're taking the same approach that we're kind of saying. We've always said, we're starting with game streams because it's a massive market already, right? It's an understood market. People already know that games make tons of money, but we also know that the technology that we're enabling, that you're enabling, allows you to get much past games in so many more areas of entertainment. You're a gamer too, right? You've played. I mean, we had some of these conversations.
An ex-gamer.
Yeah,
I picked up gaming again last few years. Actually just got a Steam Deck and just been like toying around with that.
nice.
And the big goal of that was I wanted to start streaming from my deck itself and throw it on Soulbound TV. And I myself want to become like a VTuber. So
Of course.
we're building some components right now to kind of just help quickly enable streaming from a Steam Deck, and it's not that easy, but we're almost there, and now I can become like a VTuber. So
And off the grid is, I mean, that to me seems to be a big or a good tent pole for a shift. Right now, it's powered by Avalanche, right, and it's got it's enabling Web3 gaming, but you don't really necessarily feel like you're playing in the Web3 world. You've had a lot of streamers using off the grid at this point.
yes, off the grid game itself is very heavy to play though, so you actually need a pretty badass rig to actually play it. If you're playing on the PC.
Right.
I think now it's released on PC, on Xbox and PlayStation, so it makes it a little bit easier to pick up and play. But yeah, a lot of our streamers do play off the grid and Shatterline. Shatterline's actually been a favorite of our streamers as well. It's a little bit more lightweight to play, and a lot of people can pick it up. And so we do a lot of work with Shatterline, and in fact, we have like a Shatterline tournament coming up Valentine's Day weekend.
Nice.
And so we'll be giving away some fun rewards there. But everything is all streamed on Soulbound, and yeah, off the grid, it's a good flagship game that's going to help potentially propel the Web3 gaming into this next era, because it has gone through a little funk over the last couple of years.
Right.
I think Axie was like the height of Web3 gaming and the metaverse, and then last 3 years or so it's been a little bit
Well, the bear market hit everything, right? So
yeah.
as we come out of that, we're going to see again more activity and more people trying new things. So,
Yeah.
but it's good to off the grid just kind of. And you said the other one. I'm sorry. The
Shatterline, which is also
Shatterline.
on Avalanche.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so we do a lot of work with these companies, and well, Avalanche specifically. But off the grid, it's I think everyone's waiting for that off the grid token launch just to see what happens with that, because they're obviously the biggest game in the space, AAA,
Right.
very heavily funded, and I think that's gonna set the stage for Web3 gaming this year on that front. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyways, that's still exciting for me because I know that they spent upwards of 10 million plus in their October launch of Off the Grid, and they were paying streamers, $250,000 plus per stream per day to kind of like get the word out. And that is very beneficial for me as obviously, the next streaming platform, and them showing, okay, like this is how you're going to get used. This is how you're going to get market share as a game. You need to get awareness. You need to get your content out there. And we're kind of creating that solution where you could just tap into 1,000 streamers on demand immediately, start streaming your game, and we can simulcast it to Twitch. So it just helps your game kind of pick up steam and get more branding out there. And Off the Grid will obviously spend a ton of money to facilitate that. And so.
Yeah. I had gone through it. I think I forget if it was you and I were talking about it. The black hole that keeps players playing the same game over and over again. Did I go through that with you? Or was that
no.
So the game, the 2024 game report came out. Matthew Ball had published this report, and he talks about what he calls the black hole of the reason. And by black hole, he means a gravity that holds people to the game that they've been playing over and over again. It's their network of friends, and it's the loot that they've gathered, and the knowledge and the understanding they have of the game. So pulling people away from that black hole game they've been playing for such a long time, it's not just about showing them a really beautiful looking game. It's also about overcoming the gravity that they have towards the game that we're playing. But everyone points to ease of access, social sharing, the idea, what the game streamers do, right? It's quickly enticing because it's social. It's a social thing to get involved with, not just watching, but in a system like yours where you can also comment to other people who are watching at the same time. They form communities around that, and that community aspect of gaming, it becomes very, very important, especially when you're trying to pull them away from something they already love. Does all that ring true to you? I mean, it sounds like
I probably, just maybe like the crux of it all is how fun the gameplay is, and the mechanics and stuff. So
that's kind of where my head always was.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that from this report, he's saying they don't even get in to try the new gameplay because they're so used to playing the thing that they're already. I mean, the time is limited, and they jump right into the one they've been playing already. I think again, that's something that we're hoping to tackle with the cloud gaming, is that when you have a 5-minute span, you could jump into a website experience, a game that's on a website, check out a new mechanic that you haven't seen before, and then be like, oh, this gameplay does seem really cool. I talked to another studio earlier this week about the idea that they don't have to put the whole game on a cloud network. If they just put a sample up, like a shooting gallery that shows off, hey, these guns, yeah, we have the sniper rifle, we have the rocket launcher, but we also have this gun that you've never seen before. That does a special thing, like it I don't know, shoots and traps the opponent in a bubble, right? And then the bubble shrinks, and that person like crumbles up into a ball and then dies. Like, you never seen that kind of gun before, but wouldn't that be if you saw that being played in a video, or better yet, you could jump into a shooting gallery and play it against bots? Wouldn't that make you think like, oh, this is a game I want to try? Right.
This actually reminds me a lot of mobile ad tech, and there's a unit called playable ads. And this is something that they've been doing on the mobile side for app games. You could play, a level within an ad unit, and a lot of these ad units are obviously pop up in other games, but something similar to that, where it's just like a 20-second mechanic.
They get me every time. I play a lot on my phone, and those things get me every time. I'm just going to try this one level, and then before I know it, my phone is overloaded with different games. And that's what we keep on saying. What we're hoping to do is take the monetization path that mobile games has. It's been so successful for so many. I mean, mobile games make so much more money than console games or PC games. But taking that model and then enabling the AAA titles to use that model because they can now run these other devices. So
yeah.
Hey, what did we not touch on? The future for Soulbound TV is already. We talked about that a little bit, but is there anything I didn't cover that you think we should kind of go into?
Yeah, I'd love to talk about maybe AI and agents, and maybe we'd love to learn more like YOM. What you guys are going to be doing on that side, and how we can help support you there. on our side, we're going to be building out essentially like a virtuals ecosystem, but all embedded within Soulbound TV. And, so as I mentioned, like agents can spawn, streamers can spawn their own agent and then kind of breed it, mod it, and everyone can swap into it, buy it, sell it, things like that. And I think there's a lot of interesting components there, as you mod these agents, especially within like games as well. So right now you can actually go to soulbound.tv and see a 24/7 Minecraft agent playing and live streaming himself now. And would love to learn more about like, YOM's kind of like position here and maybe where we can collaborate.
Yeah. So for us, again, we're talking about cloud streaming, pixel streaming, any kind of Unreal project. So that can be, and we've had a couple of clients who've talked to us about the idea that their AI agents are also models built inside of MetaHuman that can live on a website and be the person you speak to. I have that vision of a big brand, a big IP like Marvel, taking a character like the Thing and putting it on the Marvel's website, and then I, as a fan, can go and talk to the Thing, and he's animated. I'm asking him questions, and he's telling me about the lore of the world, and I can go to him with any kind of question, and he responds in the personality of the character. I think that's going to be a powerful way to, again, build that brand and allow people to interact. But we're the delivery system. Again, we don't necessarily get involved. We partner with projects that do the AI building. And we enable them to get that so low cost that they can
Nice.
that they can afford to do it on a website. But that's kind of where the point that we're playing a part of it is really just to allow the cost to be so low that it's economically feasible, because right now it's just too expensive to do.
Right. Yeah. On the note of kind of like bigger IPs going into the agent space, we're actually seeing that now. And there's one coming up next week, if they get it live next week. But Black Mirror is having a release of their agent. And
Nice.
We're actually working with that team to have one of the exclusive partnerships we'll be streaming the Black Mirror agent, and you can interact with it, and it'll actually be on Solana. It's built from a virtuals agent using the game OS on virtuals, and that you can start to like interact with the agent. It'll pop out a social score for you, so it's like, tell me what my social score is. You start to engage with it. If it likes your engagement, then it'll pop you over some like mirror tokens. If it doesn't like your engagement, it'll block you and things like that. And so that's something that's going to be super fun. And, I think Netflix is kind of like behind this, interestingly enough. And so I think like Marvel and any other, like Disney, like what's the future of like agents coming to life now from all these different IPs? And, where's that going to live, and how's that going to interact? And, are they going to be tokenized or not tokenized? And so I think a lot of interesting questions are going to come from that. But, I'm surprised that Netflix is actually like okay with kind of like tokenizing this agent and getting things going. But I guess now that, I'd say Trump's in the House, there's, less rules.
I think that the fear is going away, and people are recognizing, as the SEC is, they just pull up a whole bunch of agents out of the crypto investigation arm of the SEC and the IRS. I mean, they really are. I think they're going to follow through on let's bring crypto into the United States in a way that doesn't scare people away any longer. And so that's probably why Netflix is feeling more comfortable with it. That episode you're talking about with Black Mirror, where the social score becomes like the big driver for the woman, that one of my favorite episodes, and again, one of the most scary episodes. I think that was like season 2's first episode or something like that. But
it was.
It was frightening.
That's gonna potentially drop next week. I don't want to give any news out, but I don't know like how, like if they're ready or not. But we'll be like one of the exclusive partnerships to have a full live stream of this, and
nice.
24/7 engagement and stuff. And then we'll start building out a lot of tools to help. So one of the big things that they need was, and I think what's interesting is like a lot of these other companies need, or meme coins or agents, is they need utility, right? And so
Yep.
there is just speculation, but what happens after the speculation is kind of like done? How do you create these sinks and faucets and ways to kind of like create more utility for this token? And so we're actually being tapped to create utility for this Black Mirror token through, engagement with the agent on Soulbound, the prediction market. You can use the mirror token on predictions. Dare the agent to do something that'll cost like some mirror token as well. So you can either buy mirror token or earn it by the agent giving it to you by engaging with it and then using it to maybe like give you a shout out or whatever you want to do. Like, the world is your the oyster at that point. But we're just gonna be building, so all these like layering on tools and features that we're kind of like building right now is to help drive utility for other tokens in the platform as well. So you want to do a prediction. So if you're like, let's say Gunzilla, off the grid, you want to have people betting with gun token on these predictions, right? And that kind of creates like more utility and need to kind of like want and buy and earn this gun token.
Right.
So we're trying to create more utility for all these other third-party tokens.
Well, it creates another sink, right? If you've got escrow accounts that are holding on to Gunzilla tokens or the mirror tokens while a bet is being pursued, right? While a wager is being pursued, that all those escrow accounts are just, again, another sink that take those tokens out of circulation. So another way to kind of bring some value to it. But then you're right. Ultimately, you have to deal with like what is it purchase that translates to a real world value. I think that's ends up you can stay in an in-game economy forever, but really I think what the extra added benefit of it being a blockchain token is that you can actually extract that utility out of the blockchain and put it back into real world use. But there's certainly ways to do that. You would think even buying merch for the property itself, right? You could basically having so many mirror tokens is a 20% discount for the purchase of the Black Mirror sweatshirt that you wanted to get, right, or the hoodie or something like that. Right.
We were starting to kind of like I was asking the team because I know that what I think would be super interesting, and it's kind of like messed up, but if there was some beef that got played out on STV, Soulbound TV, and I was like, can we engineer beef somehow between like who the person that's in my mind right now is Tekashi 69 and the rapper, and he's always surrounded by beef and drama, and I was like, I kind of like this drama, and I was like, what if we can insert Tekashi 69 into a Black Mirror episode as like some animated character, and then that gets played out, maybe on Netflix itself, but also on STV. Like if Black Mirror's goal right now is like launch this agent, and then I think maybe they're gonna start creating mini games for this and mini episodes within Black Mirror that can be created through collaboration of the community, and maybe like some rappers like Tekashi comes in and is like a crazy drama-inducing character on these episodes, and fucks everything up or something. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of fun actually. So so there's a lot of opportunities, I think, just in the next generation world of content creation, and how studios are going to start looking at how to incorporate agents or content creators into their marketing and distribution setup. So,
and then when they realize that the latency and the cost is so much cheaper when they do this kind of thing streaming off of our network as opposed to the central server, that I think that's going to break down the doors for us as well. We know already that Netflix and Roku, we can stream. They can stream from our network as opposed to their central servers at a much lower cost. So that's, again, part of our roadmap, not in the next year, but probably in the next 2 or 3, where we go to these big players and say, listen, don't be spending all your money building another server farm in the middle of the desert somewhere or somewhere close to the ocean so you can cool it. Let us use the unused GPU cycles that are all around the world being not used on these gaming rigs in people's homes, and it'll cost you a whole lot less and it'll be a lot more responsive. So
I'm ready for that. my YOM YRX. So
I've just set mine up in the house today and booted it up for the first time today. Successful boot off the drive, and we're running some tests today. We're pretty excited. So again, we're
awesome.
getting
I'm excited.
it's been all kinds of fun this week. It's been a crazy busy first half of the year or first quarter of the year already. We're only halfway through it, so it's just going to get better and better. I got a question about, is the plan for Soulbound to switch to YOM? I don't think that necessarily has to happen. It's more of a partnership where we help your streamers reach more games, and then we just help promote each other and hook each other up with games and community members, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be the first part of it. We have built everything on a DePIN solution for our live streaming video infrastructure. So I don't know, maybe that one day could be.
Are they gaming rigs? Do they have to be gaming rigs, or how do you guys do it through?
No, so that's through LivePeer, if you're familiar
Okay.
with them.
Yeah.
And then we're also in talks with Theta, who have like a similar setup to LivePeer, but that's all on their nodes essentially. And
Yeah, right. And that's and we're trying to introduce you to some of our other nodes as a service partners too, right? We'll get you hooked up with some of those so you can
yeah,
expand as well. But see, our need, and people maybe not recognize it, but for us, not every node service works for us, because we need not just a lot of them are using graphic cards. AI only really requires a graphics card. But for our system to work, we had to get beyond the graphics card to also the sound card, because games have sound and RAM and CPU. So it's a little, what we asked for is bare metal access, and many of them can do it, but not all can do it. So that's kind of the difference for our.
and that actually, very big question on this is, does that maybe potentially interfere in any on the game's anti-cheat mechanisms?
No. So again, we have the system is locked out, but the people who own the nodes, they don't have root access, so they can't get to the game data. It's all separated. And again, we're not using the gamer rigs, native hard drive or SSD. We don't install any software on their machine. It's intentionally made to be firewalled away so that those kinds of cross streams don't happen.
Nice. Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah, we got some pretty smart guys on the engineering team who think of ways things can break and make sure and build it so that it can't break. Because
And
I don't want to say they're necessarily devious,
right?
but there's what's that?
There's a hardware device coming out.
Yeah, that's going to be the hardware device. It's not the only way we do it. We also are selling licenses to do the things you're talking about, where you partner with a service.
Okay.
Again, not every service is available to us. It's the ones that have the bare metal access, but there are still a fair amount of those.
Okay. I know I layered up on some YOM the other day on Solana.
Yeah.
So,
And then the bridge is live, so make sure you bridge before the. I think we've got 82 days left, 81 days left.
okay, I might need a reminder on that one.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't. Yeah, I'll make sure I reach out to you. We're going to talk anyways.
Cool.
All right, well, good. So we do about 45 minutes usually each time. Is there any last things to touch on? I've got all the socials and everything, but how do people get to Soulbound TV or Soulbound?
Yeah, the website, the new website we're launching on Valentine's Day, but you can go now and start to check it out. It's soulbound.tv, SOULBOUND.tv. The current Twitter is soulbound_GG, but we'll be actually swapping that into soulbound_TV upon Valentine's Day, and we're having a huge, anti-Valentine's Day weekend tournament, Valorant tournament. We're going to be giving some big giveaways. There's a lot more news and stuff that are going to be launching next week with us. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of like, we're setting the stage, and, we love to be pioneering kind of like what's next in kind of like the decentralized television entertainment space. And I think the world's going to be super, super fun going forward.
It's going to be very different, but very, very cool, I think. Yeah. All right, Casey, thanks again for joining us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. And then follow us both of our Telegrams and both of our Twitter accounts. And we'll make sure that everybody gets to see those in the description. Thanks, Casey.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, YOM.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.